Hey guys, welcome back to Benham Brewing's channel. For those of you that haven't been here before, we do product reviews, tutorials, and we have a live chat feature on our website to help you through your Brew 911s. Today's video, we're actually doing a bit of an experiment to answer the question, should you squeeze your grain bag or shouldn't you? I found that there's really two camps that are very decisive about this. We're actually going to put that to the test today and see, does it have an impact? Let's check it out. So the idea for this video actually came from a couple of comments that we've gotten on some of our tutorials. In our tutorial, when we talk about brewing, whether it's all grain or whether it's extract, we say that you really shouldn't squeeze the grain bag, and that's especially important during extract batches where you have that small bag of specialty grain. Now that's something that I've always believed in and followed as kind of the law, but I've never actually tested it. So when I had several comments of people saying that they squeeze the grain bag without issue, to get that little last bit of liquid out of it, they don't seem to notice a flavor impact. And so we really wanted to put this to the test. I've always taken it as the way things should always be, and I've never actually gone through and tested it. So we're gonna take a look at that today. All right, let's talk about our testing methodology and why we're kind of doing what we're doing with this. So when you're doing your brewing and you have your grain bag, they say you shouldn't squeeze it because that can extract extra tannins and things from the husk. So for our testing methodology today, we're actually going to take a simple grain bill, and we've got two different examples. We're gonna do a pale ale and then something that's darker, like a stout, or it's actually kind of an imperial stout grain bill because of the darker grains. We're going to split the batch in two. We're going to steep them for half an hour, and then when we take them out, we're going to let one drain, and the other one we're actually going to squeeze the liquid out. And it's important to do that to see the impact of the flavor. Now, this is not something we're going to be fermenting out. Think of this more like a grain tea. And the reason I didn't want to ferment it is because fermentation also changes the flavors down the road. So my thought is, if you don't have a flavor impact at this stage, it's not going to impact the end result of the beer. If you can tell a difference at this stage, there may be impact down the road. And if that is the case, if we can taste a difference now, we will continue the experiment by brewing a batch of beer and seeing if you can taste that in the finished beer. So for the tasting of this test, we wanted to use the triangle test. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, basically you give 3 identical samples to the taster. 2 of the samples are the same, 1 is different. Now the taster doesn't know which is which. So you taste all 3 and you try to determine which one is kind of the odd man out. And if you can't tell the difference, then there really is no perceptible difference between any of the samples. If you are able to figure out which is which, you should be able to specify specifically what it is that is different about the sample. All right guys, so let's talk about the results of our tests, which are actually very interesting. So we had our 2 recipes that we did. We did the pale ale and then we had a dark stout. The pale ale, between the 3 of us, was kind of inconclusive. We really couldn't tell a difference in the smell or the taste of any of the samples, which I thought was kind of cool. For this one, no discernible difference. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna say that's the odd man out. When I first tasted it, I got a little, and I could have been looking for astringency, but I felt like I tasted a little graininess.
So, you were right, that was the odd man out. But
that wasn't the squeezed.
The other 2
The other 2 were. Really?
I don't know.
You can't. Now, it's also interesting that when we went to the stout, every single sample we were able to pick out both with smell and with taste that it had some sort of astringent quality or something was definitely different, something was definitely off. So that kind of explains and answers the question as to why some camps feel that squeezing the bag doesn't impact flavor and other people do.
These 2 taste astringent to me.
Really? What do we got? Red and...
Black. It was this one.
No, actually you are 100% correct. Red and black were the squeezed bag. Those taste astringent.
You have chosen wisely.
Oh, thank God. Have him running up the steps with little tasters in his hand.
Blue and red, I'm gonna say, are the same, and black is different. I don't know. It tastes different. This is
lighter.
clearer, I guess you could say.
Lighter, clear. Okay.
Yeah.
You have chosen wisely.
Yes.
If you're just brewing lighter colored beers, you don't have the chocolate malts, the roasted barleys, the really black malts in your beer, there appears to be very little impact on the finished beer flavor. If you are doing those darker beers, those stouts, those porters, those that really have those roasty characters, the impact is much greater and very, very obvious. Now, I would be curious to see if we were to take that beer that we did, the dark beer, and that we squeezed and actually fermented out, if that flavor would carry through. I would tend to think that it is, but stay tuned for a video where we follow up on that and see if the impact continues into the finished beer. Thank you guys so much for watching our video on the impact of flavor when squeezing the grain bag in your brewing. Hopefully this video brought you some value. If it did, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to us and lets us know to continue to bring you this wonderful content. If you do have suggestions for other videos and tests that we could run and experiments, please feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, my friends.